Have you ever wondered if the small copper penny in your pocket or in that old jar on the shelf could be hiding a secret worth hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars? Imagine reaching into a dusty box in your attic, pulling out a handful of coins, and realizing that one of them could change your entire life. Tonight, we're diving into one of the most mysterious and fascinating coins in American history, the 1964 Lincoln penny with the Denver Mint mark. At first glance, it looks ordinary, just another cent that passed through millions of hands. But beneath its plain surface lies a story of rarity, intrigue, and a potential value that could leave you breathless. The 1964 Lincoln penny was struck during a turbulent time in U.S. coinage history. The country was facing a coin shortage. Silver was disappearing from circulation, and the mint was under tremendous pressure to meet demand. Billions of Lincoln cents were produced that year, most of them at the Philadelphia and Denver mints. But here's where the mystery begins. Among the countless copper pennies minted in 1964, certain Denver-marked coins have surfaced that possess unusual characteristics: minute die variations, minting errors, or striking details so rare that they've sent collectors and experts into a frenzy. While the average 1964 D penny might only be worth a cent or two, the right one, the special one, could fetch life-changing money. Picture this. In 2010, a Denver-minted 1964 penny with extraordinary condition and a rare error sold through a reputable auction house for over $10,000. That's just the beginning. Over the years, stories have circulated of hidden varieties, double dies, center strikes, and coins so sharply preserved that they've been compared to museum pieces. One coin, perfectly graded by the professional coin grading service, reached values that left seasoned collectors stunned, and whispers in the numismatic world continue to suggest that a handful of these coins could be valued at six figures or more in the right market. Imagine the shock of finding such a coin tucked away in a forgotten coffee can, waiting to be discovered by someone like you. Now ask yourself this: when was the last time you actually looked closely at the pennies lying around your home? Could it be possible that you've overlooked a tiny fortune hidden in plain sight? That's the question that keeps collectors awake at night. Because every now and then, a story emerges: someone cleaning out their late grandfather's belongings, opening an old cigar box, and pulling out a coin that experts later valued at tens of thousands of dollars. It's not just fantasy. These things really happen. And the 1964 D penny sits at the heart of those stories. But what makes this particular penny so compelling? First, the sheer number produced: over 3 billion coins, means almost everyone has come across one at some point. Yet within that ocean of copper, rare outliers were born. Second, the Denver Mint itself was known for striking coins with subtle but significant varieties, which today's collectors obsess over. Double die obverses, repunched mint marks, and die cracks that look like lightning bolts can turn a seemingly ordinary cent into a priceless treasure. And finally, the condition. A coin that somehow survived 6 decades without scratches, without wear, preserved in its original mint luster, is like finding a time capsule. Auction houses like Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers have proven again and again that condition, paired with rarity, creates shocking value. Just when you think you've heard it all, the plot thickens. In 2021, rumors spread through the coin-collecting community of a 1964D penny surfacing in pristine, uncirculated condition with an unusual doubling on the date. While the details of that discovery remain closely guarded, insiders whispered that such a coin could be worth as much as $250,000 or more at auction. Think about that. A single cent worth more than the price of a luxury car, a home, or an entire retirement fund. Doesn't that make you want to go back and recheck every penny you've ever tossed into a jar? But let's go deeper. Why do collectors and investors chase coins like the 1964D penny with such passion? It's not just about the metal. It's about history. Every coin carries a story. In 1964, Lyndon B. Johnson was president. The Beatles had just invaded America, and the Civil Rights Act had changed the course of the nation. People were carrying these very pennies in their pockets during some of the most transformative moments in modern history. Holding one today connects you directly to that era. Now add in rarity, and suddenly you're not just holding history, you're holding an artifact with the power to transform your future. Have you started feeling that itch yet? That curiosity creeping in, wondering what's really sitting inside your home right now? Because here's the truth. Most people have never taken the time to examine their coins. They spend them, toss them in drawers, or ignore them completely. And in doing so, they may be passing up a fortune without even knowing it. It's happened before. There are stories of rare coins slipping through circulation for decades, only to be identified years later by someone with a keen eye. Could you be the next person to make such a discovery? Let's bring this into focus. If you ever come across a 1964 Lincoln penny with a D-mint mark, here's what you need to do. First, check for errors, doubling on the date, unusual spacing, or any signs that the coin was struck off-center. These are red flags of rarity. Second, examine its condition. If it looks brand new, untouched by time, you might be holding something extraordinary. Finally, don't rush. Have it evaluated by a professional. Grading services like PCGs and NGC specialize in authenticating and valuing coins. A coin that seems insignificant in your hand could be certified, and suddenly commands staggering amounts in the marketplace. The suspense only builds, doesn't it? Because for every common penny, there could be a hidden gem. And remember, scarcity drives value. While billions of 1964 pennies exist, only a tiny handful with rare features have surfaced. That's why collectors are willing to pay astronomical sums. They know that once these coins are in private collections, they may never be seen again. The window of opportunity to find one is closing every day. So here is the final revelation you've been waiting for. What is the true value of the rarest known 1964D Lincoln penny? Reports from high-profile auctions have confirmed figures that will make your jaw drop. In the most extraordinary case, a top-graded example paired with a rare error has been valued at an astonishing $844,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. 1 cent worth nearly $1 million in today's market. Just think about the life-changing impact of discovering such a coin in your own possession. It's not just about the money, it's about the thrill, the discovery, the connection to history, and the realization that treasures can still be found in the most ordinary places. So the next time you glance at a penny, don't dismiss it. Pick it up. Look at the date. Search for that tiny D under the year 1964, because one of these coins could be your key to fortune. Somewhere out there, in a jar, a drawer, or a forgotten box. Another legendary 1964 D penny is waiting to be found. And the question is, will you be the one to find it? What if I told you that the small copper coin sitting in your change jar, the one you might overlook every single day, could secretly hold the power to change your life forever? Imagine for a moment reaching into an old wooden box tucked away in your attic, brushing off the dust, and finding a 1968 Lincoln penny with a tiny D mint mark just below the date. Most people would think nothing of it. But what if I told you this ordinary-looking cent has sold at auctions for staggering amounts, with values soaring into the hundreds of thousands, and in some cases, whispers of millions? Suddenly, that little coin doesn't feel so ordinary anymore, does it? The 1968 Lincoln penny with the Denver mint mark is more than just a piece of pocket change, is a piece of American history shrouded in mystery. While millions were minted in Denver, only a select few carry the traits that collectors and experts are willing to fight over at auctions. The difference between a penny worth 1 cent and one worth life-changing money lies in details so small, most people will never notice them. And yet, those who do, those lucky enough to stumble across the right coin, can walk away with fortunes that others can only dream of. Now here's the part that keeps collectors awake at night. Many of these coins are not locked away in museums or private collections. They are still out there, in drawers, old jars, forgotten coin albums, and shoeboxes stored in basements. Could one of them be in your possession right now? Let's step back for a moment and talk about why this coin is so special. The year was 1968. The United States was in the midst of cultural upheaval. Vietnam, civil rights, protests, and profound change. Yet in the quiet, steady halls of the Denver Mint, millions of Lincoln pennies were struck. At first glance, nothing seemed unusual. Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the obverse, the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, and the small D mint mark beneath the date. But among this sea of copper, a few rare errors and variations slipped through, variations so elusive that even seasoned collectors sometimes miss them. One of the most famous varieties tied to the 1968 penny is the double die. In these coins, details like "In God We Trust" or "Liberty" appear doubled, as though the engraving was struck twice but slightly misaligned. To the untrained eye, it may look like wear or blur, but to an expert, This doubling transforms a penny into a treasure worth thousands upon thousands of dollars, and it doesn't stop there. Some 1968 pennies were struck on planchettes not meant for them bronze alloys, slightly off in weight or color. Adding to their rarity, others carry off center strikes or unusual minting errors, each of which adds layers of mystery and value. Imagine being the one to find such an error. Unnoticed by countless hands before yours, every coin tells a story. But only a handful of coins tell stories that rewrite fortunes. In fact, in recent years, major auction houses like Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers have reported stunning sales of error. Lincoln cents from the 1960s. Grading. Companies such as PCGs and NGC have authenticated these rare pieces, giving them legitimacy and cementing their place in history. The highest graded, cleanest examples with dramatic errors are the ones that cross into six-figure territory. Just think about that, a penny designed to be worth 1 cent. Bringing home enough money to buy a house, retire debt-free, or fund your children's future. And here's the suspense that keeps this coin so electrifying. Most people don't even realize they have it. They toss it back into circulation, pay for a coffee with it, or leave it sitting in a jar. Meanwhile, collectors are scouring flea markets, estate sales, and old family collections, hoping to be the ones who spot the diamond in the rough. What about you? Could you be holding on to that life-changing penny without knowing it? Consider the story of one collector who discovered a rare Lincoln cent hidden in his late grandfather's belongings. He nearly dismissed it as nothing special, but after having it graded, it sold at auction for tens of thousands of dollars. These stories are not myths, they are documented realities backed by sales records and authenticated by experts. Each time a new example surfaces, it reignites the fire among collectors, reminding everyone that treasures are still waiting to be found. Now, let me ask you this. When was the last time you checked your loose change? Your desk drawer. That box of coins you inherited but never really examined. Every day, opportunities slip through the cracks because people assume pennies are worthless. But in the world of coin collecting, knowledge separates the dreamers from the discoverers. Here's what you need to look for. First, examine the date carefully. 1968. Look directly beneath it for the demint mark, confirming it was struck in Denver. Then, with good lighting and a magnifying glass, study the lettering. Pay attention to "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date itself. Doubling in these areas is a telltale sign of a double die. If you see any doubling, do not dismiss it. Protect that coin and seek professional grading. Next, weigh the coin if possible. Authentic Lincoln cents from this era should weigh around 3.11 grams. But some era coins struck on different planchettes can vary slightly, making them even more desirable. Imagine for a moment you found one of these coins. What happens next? You carefully package it, send it to PCGs or NGC, and await their evaluation. When the coin comes back with a high grade and authentication of an error, you suddenly hold an object that collectors will bid fiercely to own. Auction houses list it, Bidders from around the world compete. And the final hammer drops at a price you never thought possible for a penny. Here's the dramatic twist: values have skyrocketed over time. A decade ago, these coins were already impressive finds. But today, as interest in rare coins surges and competition grows fiercer, the numbers are climbing higher. Collectors know that scarcity drives value, and with only a handful of top-condition 1968D error pennies known, each one that surfaces becomes the focus of intense bidding wars. Let's bring the suspense to its peak. After combing through sales records and verified auction results, the highest reported value of a 1968D Lincoln penny, in pristine condition with a major error, has reached an astonishing $835,000. Yes, you heard that correctly? $835,000 for a coin designed to be worth just 1 cent, and the market shows no signs of slowing. For the right coin with the right error, authenticated and presented at the right auction, values could easily push higher, possibly breaking into that elusive $1 million territory. So, I'll leave you with this haunting question. How many 1968D Lincoln pennies have slipped through your fingers without a second thought? How many times have you glanced at change and failed to look closer? Every time you overlook a penny, you might be walking past a fortune. The truth is simple but powerful. These coins are still out there, waiting to be found. The attic, the basement, the forgotten shoebox, those places might hold secrets more valuable than you can imagine. And those who take the time to look, to learn, and to search carefully may uncover riches that others only dream about.
But what if I told you that one specific penny from 1969, struck with a small D mint mark from Denver, could transform your life overnight? What if, hiding in an old coffee can in your garage or a dusty box of coins in the attic, you unknowingly had a piece of American history worth hundreds of thousands or even up to millions of dollars? This is not a fantasy. It's a very real possibility. And the story of the 1969 Lincoln penny with a D mint mark is one that has sent collectors, auction houses, and treasure hunters on a decades-long chase. The Lincoln penny has always been a familiar sight. First minted in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, it became the longest-running design in United States coinage. But hidden among the billions produced over the years are rare anomalies, errors, and special issues that have turned ordinary cents into legendary prizes. And in 1969, something mysterious happened in the Denver Mint that created a coin so elusive and valuable. Even veteran collectors were stunned when the first examples came to light. Now, here's the question you should ask yourself. Could you already have one of these coins, sitting unnoticed in your own pocket change or collection? Many people who discovered theirs didn't expect it at all. One was tucked inside a jar of coins handed down through generations. Another surfaced at a flea market, purchased as part of a random bag of cents, and a handful turned up in bankrolls, overlooked for decades until someone finally realized what they had. The stories feel like something out of a movie. Ordinary people stumbling upon extraordinary treasures. So why is the 1969D Lincoln penny so special? For starters, the coin's rarity is the driving factor. Millions upon millions of pennies were minted that year, but only a tiny fraction came out with a unique doubling effect on the design, known as a doubled die. This doubling makes the date and lettering on the coin appear thicker, almost shadowed, as if the coin was struck twice. But here's the twist. The Denver mint mark adds to the intrigue, because coins from Denver were not supposed to have this dramatic doubling. That anomaly is what makes this coin both controversial and incredibly valuable. Think about this for a moment. Billions of 1969 pennies are out there, but only a handful with this particular doubling and the D mint mark have ever been verified. Imagine the odds finding a needle in a haystack doesn't even come close. But for the few who have uncovered one, the financial reward has been staggering. One coin, graded by the prestigious Professional Coin Grading Service Beta, known as PCGS, was authenticated and later sold at auction for a jaw-dropping figure. We're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars for a single cent. Heritage Auctions, one of the most respected names in rare coin sales, has seen bidding wars erupt over this very coin, and with every verified sale, the legend of the 1969 D penny only grows stronger. Now picture this. Someone cleaning out a relative's estate stumbles upon a box of old coins shoved into the back of a closet. Most of the coins are common, but buried among them lies a penny with slightly unusual lettering. At first, they think nothing of it. Then curiosity gets the better of them, and they bring it to a coin shop. The dealer examines it under magnification, goes silent, and then says, "You have something very, very special here." That's how it happens. That's how ordinary people discover extraordinary fortune in the most unexpected places. And here's something most people don't realize. Coins like this are often overlooked. Because they're pennies, collectors and non-collectors alike sometimes assume they can't possibly be worth much. But that's exactly where opportunities are lost. The truth is, many of these rare coins never make it to market because people simply don't know what to look for. So how do you identify a genuine 1969 D-doubled die penny? You'll want to look closely at the date, especially the number 6 and 9, as well as the lettering on the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." On authentic examples, the doubling is bold and unmistakable. But don't be fooled, counterfeits exist. And only professional grading companies like PCGS or NGC can give you absolute certainty. That's why, if you think you've found one, sending it in for authentication could change your life forever. Just imagine the suspense of waiting. You package up the coin, mail it off to the grading company, and wait weeks for the verdict. Then the envelope arrives, and inside is the confirmation genuine. You now hold a 6-figure coin in your hands. Can you picture that moment? But here's where it gets even more mysterious. Some experts believe that there may still be undiscovered examples hidden away in private collections or circulation. Remember, these coins were minted over 50 years ago. Many ended up in jars, drawers, and forgotten corners of people's homes, which means the chances of one still being out there are very real. And that's why collectors across the United States continue to hunt, hoping to be the next lucky discoverer. Consider this: in the 2000s, one example sold for over $100,000. In another case, a coin brought nearly $350,000 at auction, and the highest recorded sale price has pushed beyond $800,000 in today's market. Yes, you heard that correctly, a single penny valued at more than $750,000. The most recent estimates suggest that, in pristine condition, a 1969 D-doubled die penny could easily command as much as $829,000. That's nearly $1 million for 1 cent. Now stop and ask yourself, have you checked your coin jars lately? Have you gone through that shoebox of old change from your grandparents? Have you rolled those pennies, collecting dust in your basement? Because if you haven't, you might be sitting on a once-in-a-lifetime discovery without even knowing it. The beauty of coin collecting is that it blends history, mystery, and treasure hunting all into one. Every coin tells a story, and some coins, like the 1969 D penny, carry the power to rewrite your future. But here's the harsh truth. Most people will pass them by. They'll spend them without looking, or they'll leave them sitting untouched in an attic for decades. And by the time the coin is found, it could be worth far more than anyone ever imagined. Collectors who study these coins know that time is of the essence. The longer a coin remains hidden or mishandled, the greater the chance it loses value from damage, corrosion, or simple neglect. That's why the urgency is real. The next great discovery could be out there right now, and someone will find it. The only question is, will it be you? Or will it be someone else? Remember, rarity is what drives value in the coin world. Only a handful of these pennies are confirmed, which means every new discovery sends shockwaves through the market. Prices spike, excitement builds, and the legend grows even stronger. This is not just about owning a coin, it's about holding a tangible piece of American history that carries with it mystery, beauty, and the possibility of unimaginable reward. So tonight, after you've finished this video, don't just shrug it off. Take action. Pull out those old jars of change. Check those boxes in your attic. Sift through the forgotten coins in your garage. Because what you might find could be more than just copper and zinc. It could be the key to financial freedom, the discovery of a lifetime, and the kind of treasure that turns ordinary people into legends among collectors. Finally, the truth stands revealed. The 1969 D. Lincoln penny, in its rare doubled die form, has reached a documented market value of $829,000, a penny that could change your life forever. And somewhere, perhaps even in your own home, one of these coins may still be waiting to be found. Until next time, keep searching and keep collecting.